Relations and Cooperation, Lindiwe Sisulu. She says she's seriously concerned about the spate of violence involving foreign nationals and the damage that has been done to their properties in KwaZulu-Natal. As part of efforts to address the crisis, Sisulu has called an urgent meeting of African ambassadors to discuss the meeting. She's further called on law enforcement officers to deal with criminals and those damaging properties. To discuss this issue, we're joined on the line by a spokesperson for her department, DIRCO, Ndivhuwo Mabaya. Mr. Mabaya, thank you for being with us. Firstly, there were, I think, false reports earlier doing the rounds about the Mozambican border with South Africa being closed. Just tell us exactly what neighboring countries and ambassadors are saying or doing tonight.
Good evening. As you know, the minister was in Mozambique. We were in Zimbabwe about a day ago to assist with the cyclone challenges that are there. And when we come back here home, we were then confronted with what confronted us. And the ambassadors are saying they're very disappointed by how their citizens are being treated by criminal elements. We believe that many South Africans love their neighbors, they love their African brothers and sisters. But they are criminal elements, and that's why we are calling on the South African Police Service that whenever this ugly scene raises its head, they must deal with it fast, the justice must be swift, and it must be done very fast. So the minister has asked African ambassadors and other ambassadors, leaders of community, and some leaders of business to come through for a meeting tomorrow afternoon or first thing Monday morning, so that we can see how all of us as leaders can build bridges and assist in integrating all communities in all our villages and our townships and everywhere where they are.
You are saying the same thing. The police are saying that the eThekwini mayor has been saying that this is criminal elements. So is there no element here of Malawian homes specifically being attacked, Malawian shops in parts of Durban being attacked? Because that would seem to be leaning towards xenophobia if a specific group is being targeted.
You know, the reality is that there are people who will take advantage of the social conditions in our community. We know that there is a high level of unemployment. We know that there are very serious challenges about South Africans understanding how to welcome foreigners in their community. And this is because of the contestation for resources. That's why we are saying, you know, in Durban, there are millions and millions of people. We are not seeing half of them going to attack foreign shops. But we are seeing groups that are dedicated, that are organized, that are led by criminal people who arrive in shops, loot the shops, take the fridges, take the blankets, take the food, and that is why we are saying, there are many South Africans who welcome foreigners in the country, and those who are hiding behind perceived xenophobia and engaging in criminal activities, the police must be brutal and they must be harsh to them.
We hear that the minister wants to foster integration. Has there been a problem that we as South Africans have allowed sort of isolated communities where people don't mix? I don't know, but you hear examples of in Johannesburg, Nigerian areas. Should that ever have been allowed, or should we all live together as Africans?
You know, the reality is that due to different culture, due to different way of living, people will not integrate automatically unless they integrate based on church, religion. You know, people integrate based on common interests and common things that they do. What we have found is that in many townships and in urban areas where these things are happening, the community leaders must assist to integrate and to assist members of the community to understand the roles that these people play in terms of creating jobs, but also to make them understand that when our own people go across the continent, whether as business people, as workers, as investors, they are appreciated. South Africa cannot exist as an island. And that is the point that we want community leaders, church leaders, principals, doctors, to start spreading that message in the community, supported by the department, supported by the ambassador. There is a lot we can do as South Africans, as individuals and as leaders, to make our neighbors understand that we need to live with each other. This is how the world is. South Africa cannot be an island. We are what we are because of the assistance that we got from our neighbors and across the world.
But then I have to ask you, are you concerned about the rhetoric of some top government leaders? So years ago, the Minister of Small Business, Lindiwe, was saying that foreigners should share their trade secrets with South Africans, making a distinction that you don't have a right to trade as you wish if you're a foreign national. Recently, Gauteng Premier David Makhura said governments should start billing foreign African governments for their citizens using our free services. There's been a lot of this talk, Makhura even saying that foreigners are involved in drug peddling and specific foreigners involved in cash in transit heist, although I don't know if that's been backed up by stats. Are you concerned about the rhetoric of leaders in this country?
Like I said to you earlier, what we are concerned about is that there are criminal elements in this country who are taking advantage of the challenges that are facing many of us South Africans of unemployment, and they're hiding behind the fact that they can go and just break into your shop, steal a fridge because they can't buy it, and they blame that on xenophobia. That is what we want to deal with at the Department of International Relations. We want to say to South Africans that in international platforms like the United Nations, like the African Union and SADC, it is expected of South Africa to play a leading role. Actually, we are supported in our seat in the United Nations Security Council to represent the whole continent. And we can't then be the people who then get involved in things like that. Is what we are concerned
Mabaya,
about.
you're not answering my question. My question was, is the Department of International Relations concerned about the rhetoric of high-profile government leaders who are saying things that may be changing the way South Africans view foreigners? They may even be feeding into xenophobia.
I am saying to you, we issued a statement this morning. In our statement, we were very clear of what we are concerned about. We are concerned about criminal elements who are taking advantage of the social challenges in this country. And we want to work with all stakeholders to make sure that this is addressed and South Africans can understand that they cannot live in an island in this global world. We need each other in the continent. We need each other in the whole world.
All right. Thank you for your time. That was Ndivhuwo Mabaya from the Department of International Relations.